Alright guys, here we are back again on our final trip before the big Ozzy ranking video. Of course, we're looking at his latest album that came out last year in 2020, Ordinary Man. Really cool album cover there. I was glad to see him go back with the logo because like on Scream's logo, the last album I reviewed, well, on all the other versions except the physical copy, it has that classic logo. So it made that album cover kind of look plain. But anyways, yeah, this album, man, I gave it I just played the hell out of this when it first came out, and you know, if that tells you anything, yeah, I do dig it. I know some people have kind of hated on it a little bit due to some of like the production, which the production is spotty. Well, it's great for the most part. There's some guitar tone problems that I'll get into, but yeah, I think this is a great album. I really do. And we'll kick right into gear with one of the singles off here, Straight to Hell. That's that classic Ozzy heavy just opener. Just kicks right into gear. You got another freaking great breakdown. And you know, it was just so good to hear Ozzy come back after 10 years in between albums. And you can hear it a little bit on this track, but more so on some of these, but there is an auto-tune deal, a little bit of it. Some tracks it's a little more strong, and you know what? I really don't like auto-tune at all, but Ozzy's getting old, so I guess he's having to, you know, whatever, as long as he's making music, you know what I'm saying? So, like, it doesn't take away too much from the album, but yeah, it is a problem on some of these tracks. But then we've got track number 2, All My Life, which is a very, you know, kind of sentimental track, which a lot of these are on here because 2019, if, you know, any Ozzy fans out there, you know, that was a really rough year for him. He damn near died, so was struggling with his Parkinson's and some other health issues. So this album has a lot of kind of darker tones a little bit, and All of My Life kind of talks about some of his past and stuff like that, struggling with addiction, but it's a great song. Kind of reminds you of like a combination between like Tonight off Diary of a Madman and Life Won't Wait off Scream. They kind of have some similar vibes going on there. Then we got one that sounds real Sabbathy and real doomy, Goodbye. Man, that is just a brutal track. Some really, really cool lyrics on there. Again, kind of talking real morbid, really classic Ozzy, sinister vocals going on there. A really fast breakdown that kind of is akin to like Paranoid a little bit, like, and Andrew Watt is on the guitar here. I want to mention the lineup real quick. Andrew Watt, who was the producer of Post Malone's, which, you know, he's like a newer artist. He was like the producer of his albums and the producer and guitar player of this, and they got together through that one big hit Post Malone did that featured Ozzy. That's actually a bonus track on here. But yeah, he does. I'll say there's some inconsistencies with his tone on this album. So far, these first 3 tracks, I don't really have a problem. But once we get to the tracks that I kind of have a problem with the guitar tone, I'll let you know. But yeah, and also on the drums, you got Chad Smith from Red Hot Chili Peppers, and then Duff McKagan from Guns N' Roses, which is some of his best bass work, period. You know, and really, this really does seem like more of, I mean, obviously, this is Ozzy's solo career, but the band's been a huge part of it throughout. This one does seem almost like a totally solo effort because, you know, he wouldn't tour with these guys. He's still not on tour yet, but he'll probably get Zakk Wylde back, which would be cool to hear Zakk's interpretation of some of these songs, make them a little heavier. But anyways, I digress. On to the title track that features Elton John. There's a lot of guests on here, and Elton John is one of them. And also Slash is on this track on guitar, which I'm not a big fan of Slash, but he tears up the solo. This is a very powerful song, beautiful track. The symphonic elements in it are just, oh, man, they're breathtaking. And this track, it'll bring a tear to your eye, you know, if you're a big Ozzy fan and know the struggle he went through this past, or 2 years ago, like, you know, right before recording this album and during the recording process. And really is a reflecting piece for Ozzy, and just an incredible track. One of his best ballads, in my opinion. Then you've got, oh man, this is a huge huge one for me. I love it. Under the Graveyard, that first single that dropped off here, what a comeback track. I mean, besides, the Post Malone song, that was really his comeback track or whatever, but for Ozzy, this was the comeback track. And it just blows me away. The chorus, the production, oh, man. It's just a powerful track. I had to listen to it a couple times when that single first came out. And here's where we get a guitar tone problem, though, because during the solo, I cannot stand Andrew Watt's guitar tone. Again, all over on all these different, a lot of these different tracks, he has a completely different tone. It's not consistent throughout the album, which I kind of have a problem with. But yeah, I did not like the tone on his guitar during the solo. And he's a decent guitar player. Nothing compared to any of the other Ozzy guitar players, in my opinion. But then you have another one of my favorites off here, kind of comedic a little bit, Eat Me. Incredible bass line from Duff McKagan, and some really funny lyrics, and a really kind of grim and menacing pre-chorus, or sorry, not pre-chorus, but breakdown from Ozzy. Talking about like cannibalism, like voluntary cannibalism, apparently about some article he read, but really cool track. Then you got a track that's actually another kind of dark one about like school shooting. Today is the End, and definitely one of the best off here. Man, the you better run, you can't get away from you. The way that the vocals are layered in that particular pre-chorus during this song are incredible. Big time fan of that hooky chorus going on in here, man. Then you have, this one was pretty big, Scary Little Green Man. Another kind of funny one, but also still heavy in its own right. Really, really great bass work again from McKagan. I mean, like I said, I was really impressed with him on here. And he also got some cool lyrics and a great kind of post-chorus that joins in on the second, like after the second chorus. And just super, super hooky. And one of the best off here. This one, that track is highly praised even for people who don't like this album from what I see. Then you get one that's really, this could have been the closer for this album. It would have been just fine. Holy for Tonight. Really sad one, but also like kind of a sad bluesy track. And the female backing track, kind of the, the choir going on there is incredible addition on there. Oh, and I forgot to mention on Eat Me, the guitar tone during that solo that Andrew Watt does, that should have been the guitar tone throughout the album. Just period. Either that one or the guitar tone that he got here on Holy for Tonight's solo, brief little solo there. Those should have been the consistent guitar tones throughout the album. But, yeah, that's a great song. Some really cool lyrics. While sad, they're really cool and really creative lyrics here. Then you got the final track, which features Post Malone. It's a Raid, and the production is awful on this. And I get what they were going for. They were trying to kind of go for like that muddy kind of production and guitar tone, which I don't like the guitar tone on this one either. But they were kind of trying to go for that raw kind of feel, which I'm not opposed to on certain albums. Like, I mean, I'm a fan of like some stuff that's got horrible production, but I love like where it works, like Bathory's self-titled debut record, stuff like that. So like, sometimes horrible production makes for good production in a sense. But on this track, it just kind of feels out of place. I do love the breakdown a lot. But this song's really busy with all these sound effects and stuff. I could do without that. And then, of course, you got the bonus track, which doesn't count in the album. It's whatever. Not a big fan. Take what you want. Had a lot of radio play. But, yeah, I would say this is a great album. And I do love the ending of It's a Raid, where Ozzy just yells, like, after all the chaos, he just yells, "Fuck you all." Like, that is freaking hilarious. And just in classic Ozzy fashion. But yeah, I think this is a great album. I think it'll age pretty well. I know a lot of people just weren't a big fan of it. A lot of diehard Ozzy fans weren't a big fan of it. But, you got to take these things for what they are. So, yeah, next time we're diving into the big ranking video. Super hyped about it. I'm ready for it. And it's going to be a good one. And then, of course, next time I'll also announce the next artist I'll be looking at. So stay tuned, guys, and thanks for watching.